The Isle of Man TT represented the pinnacle of motorcycle racing. It boasted the longest tradition and highest prestige of any Grand Prix racing venue. Makers from around the world competed there in what could be compared to the Olympics of the motorcycling world. A victory on the Isle of Man could be likened to conquering the motorcycling world. It's that big a race. Shunzo Suzuki's proclamation came as a bolt from the blue to the engineers who'd been thinking the company would never enter another race. As others in Japan were welcoming in 1960, these men gave up their New Year vacation to begin developing a new racing machine from the ground up. Preparing one in time to travel to Britain and enter their first Isle of Man TT in just 6 months presented a huge challenge. On a rational level, the decision seemed a reckless one. Sacrificing both sleep and days off, the development team met this challenge head-on and managed to complete a new engine by the end of January. An advance party was dispatched to the Isle of Man in February. Their mission was to study the 60-kilometer racetrack, arrange lodging for the team members, and check into the availability of parts and supplies the team would need. Back in Hamamatsu, development continued at a feverish pitch, and the new machine was completed in March. Though the engine produced 13 horsepower at 11,000 RPM, it was sorely underpowered when compared to the 20 horsepower produced by the class leader MV Augusta from Italy. The company's test track was also completed around this time, allowing the team to test completely in-house. This roughly coincided with a visit to Japan by rider Jeff Duke, who kindly shared his vast knowledge of the TT with the team. Countless rounds of trial and error testing revealed that the key to increasing power lay in the design of the expansion chamber.
とにかく設計してものを作ってテストをしていこうとだいぶ荒っぽい計画を組んだんですけども、しかし集まった人間がみんなやる気でしたから、レースに情熱持ってましたから、徹夜作業の連続で、時期的には間に合う時期に完成したんですね。
The company's employees gathered to send off the team and wish them success. Carrying with them the hopes and expectations of all at home, they departed for the Isle of Man on May the 9th, 1960. The team had 8 members, including manager Takeharu Okano and riders Mitsuo Ito, Michio Ichino, and Toshio Matsumoto. Suzuki and Honda formed a national team under the direction of the Japan Small Automobile Manufacturers Association and headed to England together. When the team arrived on the Isle of Man, local hero Jeff Duke gave them a rundown on the course's key points. Mitsuo Ito shares his impression of seeing the 60-kilometer course in person.
これはびっくりしましたよ。日本にいる時には舗装路なんて走ったことないんだから、一般公道だって砂利道だからね、国道1号線だって砂利道。
Most everything was a new experience and conditions were tough. However, the local people were curious about the foreign contingent and welcomed the Japanese with open arms. The journey also created an opportunity to get better acquainted with the members of the Honda team. Such moments helped the team unwind a little. The owner of the hotel where they stayed offered words of encouragement. Don't worry about winning the first year. Just familiarize yourself with the course. Next year you can get out there and apply what you learned. Then in your 3rd year, you must aim for a win. Official practice runs began on June the 4th. This is when the performance gap between the Suzuki team and those from the West became abundantly clear.
まあいろいろね遅れてましたね。だいたい車の性能がね、日本の我々が140キロ走るところを MV アムスター、イタリアの車170キロなんですよ、最後。もう勝負になり、もう勝てっこないです。
There was a 30 kilometer per hour difference in top speed. The team felt keenly the barrier between them and what it took to be competitive internationally. Making matters worse, ace rider Mitsuo Ito came off his bike shortly after the practice run had begun.
転んだって言われるけど僕本当の原因で転んでるとは思えないんです。あれはサスペンションっていうのはね、ただバネついてただけだから。
Suzuki's first entry in the Isle of Man TT ended with Toshio Matsumoto finishing 15th and receiving a bronze replica trophy. Mitsuo Ito finished in 16th, and Rei Fei, who'd replaced the injured Mitsuo Ito, finished in 18th place. All three completed the race, and while the results were modest, the team was going home with valuable experience and know-how that could only be gained by participating in the Isle of Man TT.